Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to make a short statement on a short comment on the statement made by the Minister. Mr. Speaker, in paragraph 152 of the Media Fiscal Policy Review presented before this House by the Minister indicated to this House that the total debt stock of our nation is now 742 billion Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, from 6 March 1957 to 7 January 2017, Ghana was 60 years old, and our total debt was 120 billion Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, within the last 7 years, this government has increased our debt stock by a whopping 622 billion dollars. Mr. Speaker, what it means is that Nana-Addo Bawumia government has created 84% of our total debt stock. And all the presidents, from Dr. Kwame Nkrumah to John Dramani Mahama, in 60 years, created 16% of our debt. Mr. Speaker, the uncontrollable borrowing of this government pushed Ghana into a morass. Ghana became over-leveraged. You were unable to pay our debts, unable to even pay statutory funds. And Mr. Speaker, we have no option than to go to IMF again. After declaring to this nation that they are not short-sighted people and they will never go to IMF. Are you short-sighted people here? Where are the resources? Today you are there. And Mr. Speaker, the worst of all is that IMF gave us a condition. Before you give you the resources, go and postpone payment of your debt. Debt restructuring. So as we speak, the minister has reported to this House that Ghana has postponed payment of about $30 billion US, including debt from the cocoa sector, to future dates. So they have created debt as inheritance for the upcoming generations. For Ghanaians born unborn. Mr. Speaker, during the time of NDC, we saved money for Ghanaian children. We created the Heritage Fund and saved 9% of oil receipts in that account. Mr. Speaker, as we speak, PIAC has reported that in the Heritage Fund, we have over $1 billion. That is the wealth NDC and John Mahama created for this nation. You have created debt for the upcoming generation. Mr. Speaker, the worst of all is this. They talk about $1 billion. Mr. Speaker, food inflation. As we speak, the World Bank has issued a report. And Ghana is listed 6th among 10 countries with the highest food inflation in Africa. Mr. Speaker, there is a relationship between food prices and poverty. And according to World Bank, that relationship is positive. So whenever food prices are going up, the number of people in poverty level, the poverty zone increases. Mr. Speaker, Ghana's food inflation, we recorded the highest food inflation in January 2023, highest in the history of our country, and the lowest ever was recorded in July 2014 under John Mahama. This is per Ghana Statistical Service. Mr. Speaker, as we speak now, food inflation is hovering around 23-24%. So you are making more Ghanaians poorer and poorer and poorer because people are unable to buy food. Mr. Speaker, there's also a relationship between food prices and infant mortality. They say that per every 1% increase in food prices, child mortality increases by 0.3%. So you see what you have done. You have reduced the quality of life for people of this country. Even food. After making Ghanaians pay a whopping 2.9 billion Ghana cedis for a program you call Planting for Food and Jobs, intended to make food available and affordable, food prices are rising. And you are unable to answer all these questions. Mr. Speaker, what is happening? The worst of all is that now we are under IMF facility. IMF we did the debt restructuring to have fiscal space. to be able to grow our economy so that when we get to where we have postponed and then we can pay. Mr. Speaker, we have taken 1.6 billion from the 3 billion IMF facility. What have you used that money for?
What is it? What is it?
Where have you invested that money? Where is the money? $1.6 billion.
What is the money?
And still we are struggling. Mr. Speaker, you go to paragraph 292. Paragraph 292.
Wisdom.
And the minister talks about the importation of juice sacks. He says that Cocoa Board spends $40 million annually to import juice sacks. And this is net breaking. It is affecting the activities. And therefore, they want to incentivize producers of juice sacks in the country so we can produce it here. Mr. Speaker, under the NDC, under John Dramani Mahama, a memorandum of understanding was signed with some Indian investors to build one of the biggest jute factories in the whole of Africa, in Ghana here, at Adeso, in Eastern region. Mr. Speaker, when we handed over, and then they assumed office, they sent a delegation to the Indian investors. At the expense of the investors, they renewed the memorandum of understanding, but they have abandoned the project. A project with the capacity to produce 600,000 quality jute sacks monthly. The first ones had the capacity to employ 2,000 people. They have abandoned it for 7.5 years.
Oh.
And now you are lamenting over importation of jute sacks. Now who calls them? Mr. Speaker, again, in paragraph 102, they are talking about declining growth in the cocoa sector. Mr. Speaker, they are saying that in the first half of this year, the cocoa subsector has declined by 20.2%. Mr. Speaker, this is too huge. But surprisingly, at a time that cocoa production is declining, administrative expenditure is ballooning. Mr. Speaker, in 2021, cocoa production peaked at 1,047,000 metric tons. And then administrative expenses was 1.7 billion Ghana cedis. In 2022, cocoa production declined by 34% to 683,000. But Mr. Speaker, administrative expenditure increased to 2.6 billion. Mr. Speaker, 2023, cocoa production declined further to 654,000. 654,000 cocoa production. Administrative expenditure increased again to 3.4 billion. So they are spending the monies in their offices, neglecting production, neglecting all the cocoa production. Mr. Speaker, so the reason why cocoa production is declining is because of the fact that they are spending all the resources in their houses. Mr. Speaker, I want to read exactly what the Auditor General has provided. Report of the Auditor General 2023. There's the paragraph 1400, and it reads: administrative expenses increased by 28.8% to 3.4 billion in 2023 from 2.6 billion in 2022. And this was largely attributed to an increase in expenses for head office and divisions operations. There is a head office expenditure. Do you grow cocoa at the head office? There is another important point.
Your time is up. Your time is
Last
up.
one, let me wind up. Let me wind up. Thank you very much for the opportunity to wind up, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker.
Your time is up. Now, we will listen to Honorable Yao Buama. Honorable Yao Buama. No, please, we have to move. We have to move. The nature of business is such that no interruption. No interruption. No interruption. Majority leader, I recognize you, but I will not give you the permission to speak now. I will give you the permission later on. Please, Honorable Yabuama. I will take some of his minutes and give to you. That I will do that. If you insist on contributing now, I'll give you your time. If you are going to take part of his minutes, I will do so.
Speaker, I am seeking clarification.
I'm being
on
fair.
the time. Mr. Speaker, you said 6 minutes. Please. Mr. Speaker, you said 6 minutes. And you spoke 8 minutes.
Majority leader.
Mr. Speaker, that's what I'm asking.
That is not within your jurisdiction. It's within mine. I am, honorable members, it's now the turn of Honorable Dr. Yao Adichie.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I heard my colleagues on the other side making comments like, where is the money? Go to Jetokwe in Sapon. Go there and see a dilapidated school structure that has been replaced with a new school building and ask them, where is the money? Go to Azar in Yilokrobo by the roadside. Go and see a new school building replacing an old one and ask them, where is the money? The money is right there in their community. Great investment is being made in our country. In spite of the challenges, we are laying a solid foundation for socio-economic transformation through education. We are in the fourth industrial revolution. We are in the knowledge economy. When you don't reform your education system, when you don't introduce science, technology, engineering, and mathematics education, you are not going to be able to create a more sustainable economy. Our government is laying a solid foundation for the transformation of Ghana, and that is where the money is going. Mr. Speaker, our new high school curriculum is ensuring that high school students are offering courses in aviation and aerospace. Our high school students are offering courses in robotics. Our girls' schools that are developing and flying drones in Ghana. Mr. Speaker, the second phase of Universal Health and Allied Sciences has been completed and will be commissioned by the President on Monday. Mr. Speaker, local government university has been completed. Mr. Speaker, the money has gone into the development of University of Engineering and Applied Sciences. Mr. Speaker, the government has introduced many measures to boost STEM education, not just at the senior high school. It starts from the basic schools. Basic STEM programs have been introduced. We want to create an ecosystem of education that is second to none in the world. Mr. Speaker, public schools have been transformed. It's not just right that parents, after paying taxes, will have to pay for their children to go to private school because the public school is not an option. Under Nana Addo Akufo-Addo and Bawumia's government, we are laying a solid foundation for the transformation of public schools. When you see the East Legon STEM Academy, when you drive by and see that building going up and it's a public school, it tells you we mean business. We will change the face of public education. We will make sure that my colleagues on the other side will one day line up in front of a public school to enroll their child. These days, they are not doing that. We've run away from our public schools. We want to make sure we reform it so that we walk into our public schools. We want to create a public education regime where the son of the parliamentarian will sit in the same class of the son of the liberal, and they will study together and form friendship and develop a more united nation. Mr. Speaker, when we ask about where is the money has been invested in free secondary education, starting with enrollment of 800,000 in 2016. Today, we have over 1.4 million of our students enrolled in secondary education. That is where the money is. My government was committed to making an investment like none other in the world. A nation where 70% of our students are in boarding school and is still free. Look around the world and see where you're going to find one. It took a bold president who wanted to change the course of history of his country to make that bold commitment to free secondary education. And within 7 to 8 years, he has committed the resources to change the course of history of our nation. That is where the money is. And the money will continue to go there so far the good people of Ghana do us the honor and give us the privilege to continue beyond the 8. We will change the course of history of our nation. Mr. Speaker, the government is committed to education. The government is committed to changing the course of history of our nation. We will continue to do just that because the future of our nation is better. It's going to be better when we are in government than when we are not in government. Mr. Speaker, the finance minister told this House what the government has done. And as the Minister for Education, I'm here to bear testimony to the fact that we have done a lot in the field of education. Countries around the world are coming to see